All right, so today we're going to be looking at some really cool tactics that are used by highly successful people in the area of self-development and motivation, but not the fluffy stuff.
Right.
We're going to get into some nitty-gritty stuff that actually works.
Yeah, I like it.
And you send over this text outlining 10 strategies, and oh my gosh, it is packed with fascinating insights.
He really is.
So we are going to uncover how these strategies have played out in the real world with examples from folks like Oprah, Elon Musk, and even Beyonce.
I'm intrigued already.
Yeah. So what's really fascinating to me is that a lot of these strategies hinge on like a tiny shift in perspective.
Oh, interesting.
Or a surprisingly simple habit.
Yeah.
So we're going to unpack those subtle but powerful nuances for you today.
Okay, so let's jump right in then.
Yeah, let's do it.
What's the first one that caught your eye?
Okay, so first up is defining your vision and your goals. And the text makes this really interesting point that a lot of people get this backwards.
Oh, how so?
They think it's about picking a goal and then figuring out how to get there.
Yeah, that's pretty typical.
But the text actually flips that on its head.
Okay.
This is your vision.
Uh-huh.
That big picture of what you want to achieve needs to be crystal clear.
Yeah.
First.
I see.
And then you can set those goals to kind of get you there.
Gotcha. So like a roadmap.
Yeah, exactly. And they use Oprah as an example.
Okay.
And you think about Oprah's journey, early career moves.
Right.
Might have seemed kind of random from the outside.
Yeah.
But when you see them through the lens of her vision, it all clicks into place.
Yeah, like she had that North Star guiding her the whole way.
Yeah, totally. And the text uses a similar analogy.
Oh, really?
It talks about your vision being like a compass.
Okay.
And your goals being like the landmarks that you hit along your journey.
I love that analogy. That's so clear. I can already picture it.
And what's really cool is that the text then dives into a specific technique.
Oh, tell me more.
That Oprah used to keep her vision front and center.
All right.
Apparently, she had this habit of writing down her goals every single day.
Wow, every day. That's commitment.
Yeah, like a ritual to realign herself with that bigger picture.
So powerful. I mean, just that level of intentionality, that constant reminder of where you're headed.
Totally.
You know, it just makes me wonder, what would it look like for someone listening right now to define their own North Star vision?
Ooh.
What are those smaller goals, those landmarks that could guide them along the way?
That's such a good question for all of us, I think.
Definitely something to think about.
Yeah. Okay, so shifting gears a bit.
Okay.
Let's talk about habits.
Sorry.
Now, this is an area that I personally struggle with.
Wow.
I have like a million good intentions.
I think we all do.
But actually sticking to them, I'm a work in progress.
Well, who isn't, right?
Exactly. But this text really digs into the nitty-gritty of habit formation in a way I've never seen before.
Okay. I'm ready. Lay it on me.
It goes beyond the usual, like, small steps consistency advice.
Right.
It talks about how Steve Jobs, for example, used this almost counterintuitive approach to building habits.
That isn't all yours.
It wasn't about willpower or discipline. It was about designing his environment to make those good habits the easiest choice.
I see.
Remember the whole minimalist wardrobe thing?
Oh, yeah. He always wore the same thing.
Yeah, he wasn't trying to be fashionable. He was eliminating decision fatigue.
Ah, that's brilliant.
To free up mental bandwidth for more important things.
So he was basically hacking his own brain.
Totally.
To work for him, not against him.
Exactly. And the text takes us even further.
Okay.
It introduces this concept called habit stacking.
Habit stacking.
Where you basically piggyback a new habit onto an existing one.
Gotcha.
So let's say you already have a morning coffee routine.
Right? Most people do.
Instead of trying to force yourself to meditate for 20 minutes right when you wake up, you could try adding just 2 minutes of mindful breathing while your coffee brews.
Oh, I like that.
It's about making those tiny sustainable changes that over time compound into something much bigger.
That's like that snowball effect.
Yeah.
Small actions building momentum.
Totally. And that brings us to another fascinating insight from the text.
I'm ready.
It's about the power of understanding your own habit loop.
Habit loop. What's that?
So it breaks down how habits form, starting with a cue, then the routine itself, and finally the reward.
Interesting.
And the key, according to the text, is to identify those cues and rewards that are already driving your existing habits.
Gotcha.
So, for example, if you find yourself just mindlessly scrolling on social media,
oh, I know that one.
Every time you feel bored,
Yeah.
that boredom is your cue.
I see.
The reward is that hit of dopamine you get from seeing something new or entertaining.
Makes sense.
So the text suggests that instead of trying to fight that urge, you hack the loop by replacing the routine.
So same cue, different routine.
Exactly. So instead of grabbing your phone, you keep a book nearby.
Okay.
And reach for that instead.
So you still address the boredom.
Yeah.
But in a more productive way?
Yeah. Hopefully more productive.
Hopefully a more fulfilling reward.
Yes. Exactly.
Right.
It's like rewiring your brain's circuitry.
That's a great way to put it.
And it highlights the fact that we have much more control over our habits than we might think.
Totally. I'm curious, thinking about your day-to-day routine, is there one small habit tweak you could make using this habit loop concept?
That is a good question.
Maybe a small change that could have a big impact over time.
Ooh, I'm going to have to ponder that one.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, let's move on to the next strategy.
Right.
Embracing continuous learning.
Okay.
I think we all know intuitively that learning is important, but this text really drives home just how crucial it is in today's world.
Especially today.
Yeah, and it uses this amazing example of Elon Musk, who literally taught himself rocket science.
Wow.
But here's the thing. The text doesn't just gloss over that. It delves into the specific strategies.
Oh, cool.
Apparently he had this really unique approach to reading technical books.
Right.
He wouldn't just passively absorb information.
Yeah.
He would actively try to identify the underlying principles.
Oh, wow.
And then apply them to real-world problems.
So he was reverse engineering the knowledge, figuring out the why behind the what.
Exactly. And the text emphasizes that this active, engaged approach to learning is crucial for truly mastering a subject.
It's not about memorizing facts.
Yes. No, it's about understanding the principles and being able to apply them in different contexts.
That's so important, especially today.
Yeah, things are changing so rapidly. Industries are being disrupted.
Cool.
Technologies are constantly evolving.
The only constant is change.
Right. The ability to learn and adapt is becoming more valuable than ever.
You agree more.
And the text even goes a step further and suggests specific tactics.
Oh, I like where this is going.
For cultivating a learning mindset.
Okay.
One of the most intriguing ones is this idea of deliberate practice.
Deliberate practice.
Which is about focusing on specific areas where you want to improve.
Right.
And then pushing yourself just beyond your comfort zone.
Gotcha. So it's like targeted training for your brain.
Yeah. And the text provides some really actionable tips on how to do this effectively.
Let's hear that.
For example, it suggests breaking down a complex skill into smaller, more manageable chunks.
Okay.
And then practicing those individual elements until you master them.
It's like building blocks.
Yeah, and it's about being intentional and strategic with your learning.
Right.
Rather than just passively consuming information.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So thinking about your own learning journey, what's one area where you could apply this deliberate practice approach? What's a skill you'd love to master? And how could you break it down into smaller steps to make it more approachable?
I like that. Okay, let's move on to the next strategy.
Sounds good. What's next?
Setting aside time for reflection.
Okay.
This might seem counterintuitive.
Yeah, in our fast-paced world,
right,
taking time to reflect can seem almost like a luxury.
Yeah, but this text makes a compelling case for why it's actually essential for growth.
I'm listening.
So it uses the example of Warren Buffett.
Okay.
One of the most successful investors of all time.
Right.
And guess what?
What?
He's known for spending hours every day.
Wow.
Just thinking and reflecting.
That's incredible.
It's mind-blowing, right?
It is.
And the text delves into the specific technique he uses called journaling through the problem.
Journaling to the problem.
Apparently, he writes down all the different facets of a challenge.
Okay.
From the potential solutions to the risks involved.
Right.
And then he systematically works through each one.
So he's not rushing into a decision.
No.
He's taking the time to really untangle his thoughts.
Yeah, it's a deliberate process of untangling his thoughts and gaining clarity before making a decision.
That's so smart.
The text even suggests that this type of reflective practice can help you develop stronger intuition.
Interesting.
And make better decisions over time.
Because you're constantly reviewing your past experiences.
Right?
Both the successes and the failures.
Yeah.
And you start to see patterns emerge.
Totally.
To gain a deeper understanding of your own strengths, weaknesses, and even your decision-making biases.
Right, like having a built-in feedback loop.
Exactly.
That helps you constantly refine your approach.
I love that.
And it's not just about analyzing the past, it's also about looking ahead.
Okay.
The text highlights the importance of scheduling regular visioning sessions. Where you dedicate time to reconnect with your long-term goals.
Oh, that's interesting.
And visualize what success looks like.
So it's like a mental rehearsal for the future.
Yeah.
Where you can test out different scenarios, identify potential obstacles or opportunities.
Exactly. And by repeatedly engaging in this type of mental imagery, you're priming your brain for success.
Yeah.
And increasing your confidence.
It's like you're telling your brain this is going to happen.
Yeah.
So be ready for it.
Exactly. Okay, so now I'm curious.
Yeah.
What does your reflection practice look like?
Yeah.
Do you have any rituals or routines that help you to slow down and connect with yourself?
Yeah.
Maybe it's journaling, meditation, or even just taking a quiet walk in nature?
Those are all great options.
Yeah.
And if you haven't established a regular reflection practice yet, I highly encourage you to consider incorporating some form of reflection into your weekly routine.
Absolutely. Even just 5 or 10 minutes a day can make a big difference.
Absolutely.
Okay. Are you ready to step outside of our comfort zones?
I think so. Let's do it.
The text really leans into this idea,
emphasizing
that growth often happens on the other side of fear, and it uses Beyoncé's career trajectory as a prime example. Think about it. She could have easily stayed within the boundaries of her early success, but she constantly pushes herself to evolve, to experiment with new genres and collaborations.
It's like she embraces discomfort
Totally.
as a catalyst for creativity and expansion.
Yeah, and the text dives into this fascinating psychological principle behind this.
Oh, tell me about it.
It's called the Yerkes-Dodson law.
Yerkes-Dodson law.
Essentially, it suggests that there's an optimal level of arousal or stress that leads to peak performance.
That's interesting.
So if we're too comfortable, we're not really pushing ourselves to grow.
Right. Makes sense.
But if we're too stressed out, we can't function effectively.
It's like finding that sweet spot.
Exactly. The sweet spot is that zone of productive discomfort.
Productive discomfort. I like that.
Where we're challenged but not overwhelmed.
That makes sense.
And the text provides some really insightful tips on how to find that zone.
I'm all ears.
It suggests starting with small, manageable challenges. And then gradually increasing the difficulty as you gain confidence.
So instead of jumping straight into public speaking, you might start by practicing your presentation in front of a few close friends or family members.
Exactly.
And then you can gradually expand your audience as you become more comfortable.
It's about building resilience and confidence through a series of small wins.
I love that approach.
And here's the cool part.
What's that?
The text suggests that each time you step outside of your comfort zone, even if it's something small, you're actually rewiring your brain.
Oh, wow.
To become more adaptable and resilient.
That's fascinating.
In the face of future challenges.
So it's like you're training your brain to embrace uncertainty. And to see challenges as opportunities for growth.
Exactly. Now, I'm curious, thinking about your own comfort zone, what's one small step you could take this week? To push yourself just a little bit further. Could be anything from taking on a new project at work to finally signing up for that dance class you've been eyeing.
Oh, I like that one.
The key is to choose something that feels slightly intimidating, but not completely overwhelming.
Gotcha. It's about those small incremental steps that over time lead to significant growth.
Totally. And on that note, I think we're going to take a quick break. And then we'll come back and dive into the final 4 strategies.
Sounds good. I'm ready for more.
From this fascinating text.
All right, let's take a break. So we were talking about stepping outside our comfort zones.
Right, pushing those boundaries.
But what happens when things don't go as planned?
Ooh, good point, because we all face setbacks. And failures.
Totally. And this text actually has some really insightful advice on how to deal with those. In a way that fuels our growth.
I like that.
It emphasizes the importance of self-compassion. And it uses Serena Williams.
Oh, wow.
As a really powerful example.
Okay.
I mean, think about the incredible pressure she faces on the tennis court.
Yeah.
The high stakes, the intense scrutiny.
Totally.
And yet she's managed to maintain this incredible level of resilience.
Yeah, throughout her entire career.
It's really inspiring.
So the text dives into this specific technique.
Oh, tell me more.
that she uses.
Okay.
Called reframing negative thoughts.
Reframing negative thoughts.
So apparently, instead of dwelling on mistakes,
right,
she actively reframes them
as
learning opportunities.
I see.
She asks herself questions like,
yeah,
what can I learn from this? Or how can I use this experience to improve my game?
So it's about shifting your perspective.
Totally.
From self-criticism to self-improvement.
Exactly. And it's fascinating because the text connects this back to the concept of a growth mindset.
Oh, yeah. We talked about that earlier in the context of learning.
Yeah, and it emphasizes that self-compassion is a key ingredient for cultivating that belief that you can improve and grow, even in the face of challenges.
It's like you're giving yourself permission to be human.
Yeah, to make mistakes.
To learn and to grow.
Exactly.
And speaking of growth and learning, this text also dives into the importance of your social circle.
Oh, interesting.
It highlights this quote.
Okay.
You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's a bit stark, but it really makes you think.
It does, about the company you keep.
Exactly. It's about being intentional.
Right.
About who you surround yourself with.
So the text uses the example of Jeff Bezos.
Okay.
Who, early on in his career, actively sought out mentors and advisors who could challenge him and push him to think bigger.
So it was about more than just finding successful people.
Yeah, it was about finding people who shared his values and vision.
Right. People who could provide both support and constructive criticism.
It's like creating a board of advisors.
Oh, I like that.
For your life.
Yeah, a personal board of directors.
Exactly. And it makes me wonder, who are the people in your life?
That's a good question.
Who play that role?
Yeah.
Who are the ones who inspire you, challenge you, and support your growth?
Yeah, it's worth taking a moment to reflect on that.
I think so.
And maybe even actively seek out those kinds of relationships.
That's a good point. Okay, let's talk about a strategy that often gets dismissed as a little woo-woo.
Oh, okay. I'm intrigued. But it's actually backed by some pretty fascinating science.
Okay, lay it on me.
Visualization.
Visualization.
I have to admit, I was a bit skeptical of this one at first.
Yeah, I can see that.
But this text lays out a really compelling case for how visualization can actually rewire your brain for success.
So it goes beyond just positive thinking.
Yeah, it's about creating a vivid, multisensory experience in your mind, almost like a mental rehearsal for your desired outcome.
Gotcha.
And the text uses the example of Michael Phelps. Who famously visualized every detail of his races.
Wow. From
the feel of the water to the sound of the crowd cheering.
That's incredible. And the text actually connects this back to the concept of neuroplasticity.
Right.
Which is basically the brain's ability to change and adapt based on experience.
So by repeatedly visualizing a specific outcome, you're actually strengthening those neural pathways in your brain, making it more likely that you'll take the actions necessary to achieve that outcome.
Wow, so it's like you're pre-programming your brain.
Totally.
For success.
And the text even suggests specific techniques.
Oh, cool.
For enhancing the effectiveness of your visualizations.
Like what?
For example, it talks about the importance of engaging all of your senses. Making the visualization as vivid and detailed as possible.
So really immersing yourself in the experience.
Yeah. And it also emphasizes the importance of feeling the emotions associated with success.
So if you're visualizing yourself
giving
a killer presentation, you wouldn't just imagine yourself speaking confidently. You would also feel that sense of accomplishment and pride that comes with nailing it.
It's about creating a full-body experience.
I love that.
In your mind, almost like you're actually living through the scenario.
Right. And the more you practice this, the more your brain starts to believe that that desired outcome is not only possible, but inevitable.
I'm sold. Okay, what's a goal? Oh, that's a good one. That you could start visualizing today. Maybe closing a big deal at work, launching a creative project, or even just having a really productive week.
I think I'm going to try this one out myself.
Me too. Let's move on to a strategy that's often seen as the foundation for success. In any area of life.
I'm listening.
Taking care of your physical and mental health.
Oh, absolutely.
The text highlights Richard Branson. You know, that high-energy entrepreneur. As an example of someone who prioritizes well-being.
He's always on the go.
And it's not just about, like, eating your veggies and getting enough sleep. Those are obviously important.
Of course.
The text dives into this concept of energy management.
Energy management.
Which is about understanding your own energy rhythms and aligning your activities accordingly.
So it's like recognizing that we all have these different peak performance times throughout the day.
Some of us are morning people, some of us are night owls.
Exactly. And the key is to figure out when you're most alert and focused.
Yeah.
And then schedule your most demanding tasks during those times.
And it's not just about when you work.
Right.
It's also about how you work.
Okay.
The text talks about the importance of taking regular breaks throughout the day.
To recharge and prevent burnout.
Exactly. And it even suggests specific techniques for maximizing the effectiveness of those breaks.
Like what?
For example, instead of just scrolling through social media, try taking a walk outside, listening to some uplifting music. Or even just closing your eyes and practicing a few minutes of deep breathing.
It's about intentionally shifting your focus away from work.
Totally.
And giving your mind and body a chance to rest and reset.
And here's a cool connection.
What's that?
The text actually ties this back to the concept of self-compassion.
Oh, right. We were talking about that.
Which we talked about earlier. So it emphasizes that taking care of your physical and mental health is an act of self-compassion.
It's about recognizing your own needs and giving yourself permission to prioritize those needs.
Even when you're busy or under pressure.
It's about treating yourself with the same kindness and consideration that you would offer to someone you care about.
And speaking of kindness, this text also highlights the importance of celebrating small wins.
Small wins.
It uses the example of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Oh, wow, The Rock.
Who, despite his incredible success, still takes the time to acknowledge and appreciate his accomplishments.
That's awesome.
No matter how small.
So it's about creating a positive feedback loop.
Yeah, by recognizing and celebrating your wins, you're reinforcing those behaviors and motivating yourself to keep moving forward.
It doesn't have to be anything elaborate.
No, the text suggests keeping a victory log.
A victory log. Where you simply jot down your accomplishments at the end of each day.
So it could be anything from finishing a challenging project at work to finally cleaning out your closet.
Exactly. It's a simple but powerful way to boost your mood, increase your confidence, and stay motivated over the long haul.
I love that.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
But there are still a few more strategies from this text that I want to touch on before we wrap up this deep dive.
Sounds good. I'm ready for more.
Okay, so we're back.
Back for more.
Ready to wrap up this deep dive.
Into the world of high-performance habits.
Yes, and we've uncovered some really cool strategies so far.
Some seriously powerful stuff.
But this text still has a few more gems to share.
I love it. Bring it on. All right, so remember how we talked about setting a clear vision as that first step?
Yeah, that North Star idea?
Yes. Well, this text actually takes that a step further and introduces this concept of a premortem.
A premortem?
It's a kind of morbid term, I know.
Yeah, it sounds a little ominous.
But it's actually a really brilliant strategy.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
For anticipating potential obstacles and developing contingency plans.
So it's like a preemptive strike. Against self-sabotage.
Exactly. The text explains it's like a mental time travel exercise.
Mental time travel. I like it.
You fast forward to a point in the future where your goal has failed. And then you work backwards to identify all the things that could have gone wrong.
So you're basically identifying those potential pitfalls in advance.
Exactly. And that way you can develop strategies to mitigate those risks. And increase your chances of success.
It's like having a backup plan.
Totally.
For your backup plan.
I love that. Okay, so we've talked about vision, goals, habits.
Mindset,
even a bit of psychology. But this text also touches on something that I think is often overlooked.
What?
In the self-development world.
Okay.
The power of your environment.
Oh, interesting. Tell me more.
It's not just about what you do. It's also about where you do it.
Right. The context matters.
And the text uses this great analogy of your environment being like the soil in which your goals grow.
Gotcha. So if the soil is fertile and supportive, your goals are going to flourish.
But if the soil is depleted or toxic,
Yeah.
your goals are going to struggle to take root.
That's a powerful image.
And it goes beyond just having a clean and organized workspace.
Okay.
The text dives into this fascinating concept of environmental cues.
Environmental cues.
Which are basically the subtle signals in your surroundings that can trigger certain behaviors.
Interesting.
So, for example, if you're trying to eat healthier, having a bowl of fruit on the counter can serve as a visual cue to make that healthy choice.
Makes sense.
But on the other hand, if you have like a stash of candy hidden in your desk drawer, you're more likely to give in to that temptation.
Right, when you're stressed or tired.
Exactly. It's like you're setting yourself up for success or failure.
Yeah.
Based on the cues that you're surrounded by.
That's so true. I'm going to have to rethink my workspace now.
Me too. Okay. And speaking of productivity, this text also has some really insightful advice on how to manage your time effectively.
I'm all ears.
It emphasizes the importance of prioritization, using this cool matrix that helps you to categorize tasks based on their urgency and importance.
But you can figure out what needs to be done and when.
Exactly. It's all about learning to distinguish between the things that are truly essential and the things that can be delegated.
Or delayed.
Or even eliminated. Altogether.
Sometimes you just got to let things go. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's not just about getting things done.
Right.
It's about getting the right things done.
The things that actually move you closer to your goals.
Yeah, the things that align with your values.
So it's about being intentional with your time and energy.
Rather than just reacting to whatever comes up.
Right, or whoever screams the loudest.
Exactly. Okay, so we've talked about environment, time management, and now let's circle back to a topic that's essential for maintaining momentum over the long haul.
What's that?
Motivation.
Motivation.
This text has a really refreshing take on this.
Oh, good.
It emphasizes that motivation isn't something you just find.
Right.
It's something you cultivate.
You have to work at it.
And it talks about the importance of connecting with your why.
Your why.
That deeper purpose behind your goals.
So it's not enough to just say, I want to lose weight.
Or I want to get promoted.
Yeah, you need to ask yourself why.
Why is this goal important to me?
Right. How will achieving this goal actually improve my life?
Or the lives of others.
Yeah, by tapping into that deeper sense of purpose.
Yeah.
You're creating a wellspring of intrinsic motivation.
Totally.
That can sustain you through those challenges and setbacks.
It's like finding your fuel source.
Yeah.
The thing that keeps you going.
Exactly.
When the going gets tough.
And the text even suggests specific strategies.
Ooh, I like it.
For staying connected with your why.
Okay.
One of the most powerful ones is to create a vision board.
A vision board?
Basically, a visual representation of your goals and aspirations.
So by surrounding yourself with images and words that represent your desired outcomes, you're constantly reminding yourself of what you're working toward.
And reinforcing that connection with your deeper purpose.
It's like a daily dose of inspiration.
I love it. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have vision goals, habits,
mindset,
environment,
time management. It all comes together.
It does.
To create this powerful framework for personal growth and achievement.
And it's not about mastering every single strategy. It's about finding the ones that resonate with you.
And then integrating them into your life in a way that feels authentic and sustainable.
And that brings us to our final thought.
Okay.
For this deep dive.
I'm ready.
Remember, personal growth is a journey, not a destination.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly. There will be ups and downs, challenges, and setbacks.
Yeah, that's part of the process.
But the key is to stay committed to the process.
Right.
To keep learning, keep growing.
And to keep striving.
Yeah.
To become the best version of yourself.
And remember, you don't have to do it alone.
It's so important. Seek out mentors.
Connect with like-minded individuals.
Build a support system.
Yes.
That empowers you to reach your full potential.
So well said. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, this is fun.
On this deep dive
into the world of self-development.
And motivation, we hope you gained some valuable insights.
And some practical tools.
To take your own journey to the next level.
Until next time.
Keep exploring.
Keep experimenting.
And keep pushing yourself.
To become the best version of you